Hello, my name is Paden, Clancy Fairbanks with Cornerstone Real Estate, and I hope you guys are doing well. I just kind of want to go over a couple of news articles with you today, blabber at you, and kind of tell you what I'm seeing in the market. So let's jump right on into it. So, especially looking at this, the housing market just hit a level not seen since 2007. A lot of the stuff is pretty typical stuff that we've been seeing lately, like home prices are just soaring. It's harder for people to get loans. Their affordability of homes aren't well. But the one statistic that I saw in this that was super interesting was at current mortgage rate levels, the typical American household would have to spend 29% of its monthly income to make a mortgage payment on the average U.S. priced U.S. home, which I thought was just super duper interesting. Uh, Mostly saying that a lot of people's income, more of their income is having to go towards their housing if they do choose to buy a home, according to average home sales and average home like incomes and stuff like that. Well, they haven't seen something like this since 2008, when you were seeing that it was like at 32% of what their income was for homes. And so this 29% is a huge indicator that you should be worried about, that I'm worried about seeing that, because it just means that less people can afford a home. And a lot of people that are getting into homes, they're using a lot of their income to pay for those homes. So if hypothetically something happens to them, we just got to be concerned. Not trying to freak you out. We're going to talk more about this stuff in these next two articles, but I just really want you to understand, if you're getting into a home, do it correctly, do it slowly, do it in a relaxed manner. But it also brings up a couple other pretty interesting points. Here, you can kind of see right here. So home price growth in the last couple of years is just beat out everything that we've seen since 2001, especially years 2008, 2011, blah, 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 blah. But people are yelling. They're trying to make it so that the interest rates are go higher so that it'll cool off the market, which makes sense. And so everybody says, oh, okay, cool. We're going to have a huge market crash. We should all be scared. We should all be concerned. The problem with all of that, though, is that one, 2008, they did have like adjustable mortgages. So over time, the interest rate could go up, where everything nowadays typically you're going to see is a fixed mortgage rate. And then also on top of that, mortgages are more regulated than they were in 2008. They were more regulated right now than they were 2 years ago. But then also right here, so home builders were making houses in 2006, and they made so much that they caught up to demand. And so all of a sudden there was too many houses on the market, and that's what caused part of the reason why it caused a crash. Where still today, they aren't really able to keep up with the real estate market. They can't build enough houses. We are starting to see it slow down. Be very, very aware of that. Things are slowing down, but it's a lot of strange indicators going kind of both ways on it. Some saying that we're seeing a lot of things that we saw in 2008, while on the other side of it, inventory and how much cash is actually in homes and the amount of money that's been pumped into homes is so much different than 2008. Trying to say we don't really know what's going to happen. If anybody says they know what's going to happen, they're wrong. But we jump into this another one. So I wanted to let's go look at the start of this video. I wonder if we can see the so Redfin price cuts on homes 12%. I wish that I could see show you the thumbnail for this guy. Let's see if we refresh it, because
Want to
like
know
this
where to
guy
invest at?
is 100%. It's pretty much what he's trying to do is make it seem like the housing market is going to crash, and he sits there and he says, I've been waiting on the sidelines. You should probably be waiting on this. Here it is, right here. This guy right here. And what he's talking about is this Redfin article that we're going to go over in a second. But you have to realize, like in pure Paden opinion, sitting on the sidelines for a year in the last year would have caused you so many problems. Even if home values decreased by 20%, you're still losing out on even like a year ago on especially a bunch of Utah prices. And so everybody right now that is trying to freak you out, trying to make you seem like that there's a huge recession coming, which there probably is at some point. A lot of indicators show that. But is it in 1 month or is it in 3 years? Nobody really does know that. And so hypothetically, you saw a screaming deal right now and you chose not to buy it, and then in a year and a half home prices decrease, but they didn't decrease to what that screaming deal was. I mean, yeah, that's a foolish move. And so he seems to be making a lot of the same mistakes that I see a lot of people tend to make, which is they live in the hype, they live in the scared, they try to time the market, and there's always deals to be made as long as you're looking, taking your time, and understanding what your numbers actually are. And so I really just want everybody to be very careful of all these extreme articles and YouTube videos that you're going to be seeing, because they are blown out of proportion as to what they actually are. So Redfin price cuts on homes 12%. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. What does that actually mean? Well, the Redfin article right here is showing that 12% of homes are starting to have price cuts, as to where a year ago it was 9%. So not a huge, like, wildly scary thing. A trend for sure, but I mean, we're not going to be freaked out. But you can see it right here. So, and up from the 9% a year earlier, and right now it's at 12%. And so then we go and jump down. So price drops are still rare. Blah blah blah. All that stuff makes sense. But here's another indicator that we're starting to see is that by showing time fell by 3% compared to last year. And then also applications for mortgages decreased, fell 9% from last year, and we're down 3% last week. I mean, all these things make sense though, with interest rates going up, with there being less homes on the market, with people being priced out of the market, with people not being able to afford the loans or afford the houses that they want. It makes sense that buyers are exhausted, and so I wouldn't treat this as if it's a certainty that the real estate market is going to crash in the next year, because people just really don't know. And so if you're trying to time the market right now and you're trying to go off of very specific indicators that you're seeing, like, it's just super concerning, because there's all these other indicators that we don't have any idea what we're supposed to do with it. I mean, like, you got to realize, look at this guy right right here. Home price increases of more than 15% wasn't happening before the 2008 recession. It was down at 14%. Now, I'm not saying that that proves anything one way or the other, but that's a variable that we haven't seen before. And there's a lot of these variables we haven't seen before. So, once again, be careful of the hype. But the market is slowing down. Pretty much what this whole article is trying to go over is all of these different stats. I would advise you to read it. I'm going to include it in the description. But some of the basics are, you can't just overprice your house and expect it to sell anymore, which makes sense. Mortgage applications down 9%, showings are down 3%. And let's kind of go over some of these charts because they are super interesting. So median sale price 16.4% year after year. And then median, oh no, not that one. Home buying mortgage payments. Look at this, 31.8% up from last year because of those interest rate increases, I'm sure. But so they're up 31% as compared to last year, with only a 16% increase in price, which is like super gnarly. New listings, 4.2% year over year. If you look at my real estate in a minute for Utah, you can actually see that active listings in Utah currently are higher than they were a year ago. So be careful taking these national stats and making it saying that they're specifically Utah. If you want to ask about Utah, feel free to shoot me a text or a call. Um, active listings of homes, negative 21.6. Once again, that's different for Utah. Utah, we have more listings than we did a year ago. We have more new active listings. 59% of pending sales under contract within 2 weeks. Well, that makes sense. I mean, it's they're saying that homes are still selling super quickly, which is what I am seeing on the ground floor here in Utah. 45% of pending sales under contract with 1 week, home sold and median of 19 days, which is still insane. There was like 45 days like 4 years ago. So be aware of that. 52% of homes sold above list price, which makes sense. 3% of listings had price drops. Average home sold for 102% as to compared to 100. I want to say it was 100.7% last year. So I don't know. Mainly, we have all these stats showing that home values are still going up, like home selling for 102%, like the average days on market, or with the home sale only taking 20 days. But we also have these other stats that demand is starting to slow down, with with the amount of mortgage applications decreasing and stuff like that. So all I'm trying to say, take your time, do your due diligence, talk to a real estate agent that you trust, realize that something is coming, but also understand that standing on the sideline and going with the hype typically doesn't work out for anybody. But I hope you're doing well. Let me know if you do have any other questions, and thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.